Indonesia, a massive archipelago country consisting of 13,667 islands. I'm here to visit a top predator, but a predator with such a small range that is endangered. Some people call it the ora. You know him as the Komodo dragon. The Komodo dragon is the closest thing we have to a living dinosaur, but its precious link to a lost world is a highly endangered species. Only 3,000 remain in the wild on just 4 remote Indonesian islands. I've come to Komodo and Rinca to help take blood samples for DNA analysis. In captivity, males outnumber females by as much as 3 to 1. But nobody knows if the same is true in the wild. It's vital to find out the natural sex ratio if breeding programs are to guarantee the survival of this, the king of lizards. Without a DNA test, it's extremely hard to tell male and female apart. And the fact that they're 10 feet long and weigh up to 200 pounds doesn't make it any easier. This is an efficient predator cum scavenger. The larger animal, and it's not even fully grown, is trying to swallow this goat in the same way a python would, head first, so that the limbs fold down beside it, and it's hoping to get the whole meal down, while the other two are ripping pieces off. This is butchery at its most basic. These dragons eat in exactly the way you were told not to when you were a child. In fact, Komodo dragons will eat just about any meat, alive or dead. Adult dragons are cannibals, even eating their own young. And they'd eat me, from my hat to my boots, in about 30 minutes. Komodo dragons have poor eyesight, but their tongues can track down the smell of rotten flesh over amazing distances. It's often difficult to appreciate how sensitive the forked tongue of a Komodo dragon actually is, but here's a good example. This is the 4-kilometre mark from the ranger station on the edge of the bay. That's the distance that the Komodo dragons are supposed to be able to sense carrion over. My contact, Dr. Claudio Ciofi from Yale University, is at one of the nest sites on Rinca.
Nice to meet you.
How do you do?
Okay.
So this is your nest site?
Yep.
Is it covered over to prevent adults coming and disposing of the eggs, eating them?
Well, we put it up because to prevent the young
escaping,
the
yeah, escaping
from these.
Because you want to actually look at every single one that hatches, don't you?
Yeah. We want to collect blood samples from each of them.
Claudio wants to know if male hatchlings outnumber females, or if it's just that males have a better chance of survival. The first hurdle is getting out of the egg. And of course what people don't realise with lizard eggs is that they aren't hard-shelled, of course, like a bird. They're leathery, aren't they? And the little dragon's got to cut his way out with his little egg tooth.
Yes.
Our conversation is interrupted by an O'Shea newsflash. Ha-ha, it's a cobra! It's a cobra! I've got to get him before he decided to demonstrate. And I wanted to capture him and get him pinned down before he had a chance to open his mouth and send a jet of venom into my face, because from personal experience I can tell you, it hurts. I'm sorry I disappeared when you were talking to me, Claudio, but I wasn't going to miss out on the chances of catching a cobra.
All right, that's it.
A nice one, isn't it? Listen to him. But this is an even better catch than the cobra. It's the project's first baby dragon emerging before I arrived, from its nest 4 feet underground. But we're going to need more than just one for the study to be a success, and we can't predict if or when more babies will appear. Only by attaching a radio transmitter to this Komodo dragon can researchers track its movements and observe its behaviour. But the necessary equipment hasn't arrived yet.
Look at that.
This is little baby Komodo dragon.
I think it's quite hungry as well.
Typical baby, you see, fat belly and still wants more. Baby already has teeth like tiny needles. Feeding on insects and lizards, it will stay above ground in the trees for its first few years. Because baby Komodo dragons have to beware of their elders and betters. This is a good reason for fencing in a clutch of eggs, because this nest site would be raided. That fellow would not be beyond eating a newly hatched dragon should it appear. And no, you ain't having the cobra. You're not eating my cobra. Go away. Never mind them. Ooh, you are feisty. Spitting cobra venom is used defensively. I'm wearing goggles. Venom in the eyes can cause intense pain, damage the cornea and blindness. Oh, and he spat straight into my face then. He's hit me right across the lower lip, across the nose, up onto the goggles. I've felt the venom go into my hairline, down to my beard. If you've got your mouth open, you get a mouthful. It does taste very, very metallic, like rust. And I generally have a hot drink to destroy the venom. It's only really if it gets in the eye or on an open wound that one has to worry about it. In the background, one of the cobra's major predators here in the Komodo Islands has just ambled up, and he'd make short work of even a fully grown adult cobra. Spitter or no, that fellow'd scoff him down. Your belly's full enough, go away. Not eating my cobra. Look behind you, he's behind you. It's not just the cobra who should be careful. Komodos have serrated teeth for shearing flesh, inch-long claws, and a tail with more power than a heavyweight boxer's punch. Even their saliva is lethal, contains 52 strains of bacteria, and can cause death within 48 hours from blood poisoning. Claudio's radio transmitters still haven't arrived. If we can't get them here, then the baby dragon will have to be released without a tracking device. After some frantic emails and phone calls, I managed to get them to Professor Putra Sastrawan of Udayana University on Bali. And now the cavalry has arrived. Morning, Putra. Welcome to the Catarina. I see you've got the trap. You've got the transmitters as well.
We got everything.
Come aboard. Putra also has a Komodo dragon trap, the safest way to take blood from a full-grown adult. Putting a transmitter on a baby should be child's play. I know Claudio is very keen to get his hands on these.
All right, yes.
He's got one little dragon already to have a transmitter on.
Yeah,
so,
hopefully that when we come to location, we can catch a more small one.
Yes, well, they check in every day, so it's to be hoped that... but we've got one already, and when we get back to Rinca, they may have had some more hatch.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Putra hopes one day to bolster the Komodo dragon population by restocking the island in between Rinca and Komodo. The dragons were driven off 10 years ago by deer poachers, but I decided to join Putra on a visit there anyway. There might not be dragons, but there are other reptiles. Oh, that's my game. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, it's a little pit viper. Oh, excellent. Now, that's something I did want to see here. The white-lipped pit viper is a very widespread venomous snake in the whole of Southeast Asia. And everywhere they're bright green, but apparently on the Komodo Islands, they are supposed to be almost a bluey green. And there's one here. Well, you can tell it's a white-lipped pit viper. They have a brown stripe running right down the top of the tail. This will give you a bad time To be bitten by this would be extremely unpleasant, and you may well require antivenom, you may require hospital, but that's great. I'm really pleased to get hold of one of these. If repopulation of the island ever goes ahead, it could sustain over 100 dragons. Claudio's DNA study would provide vital information to ensure a genetically diverse population. Radio tracking also provides useful clues to the dragon's requirements for survival. We're bound for Rinca to deliver the transmitters first thing in the morning. But for the first time in years, a venomous snake manages to get me. Please bring that up. It's causing some pain, it's a good bite. Yeah. At least one fang. I'm just keeping pressure on at the moment. Oh, bugger. I was moving the sack with the white-lipped pit viper out of the way because I was moving camera equipment around. I didn't want to crush it, and it just struck me through the sack. And there is an area of discoloration there, which is not a good sign. Pissed off. I'm allergic to pit viper antivenom, and the venom could kill. It's an anxious wait to see how bad things get. It's painful. It's also bloody annoying. And embarrassing. It's a long time since I've had a bite. I've been bitten by an Indonesian pit viper. I've elevated my arm and the pain of the bite is easing, so I'm able to get some sleep. Eventually, by satellite phone, my specialist in the UK gives me the all clear to carry on my work with Komodo dragons. 20.
It's quite a small package, is it?
It's a small packet, but they're small transmitters.
Yeah.
I'll have to do most of that clutch. Have you had any more hatches?
No, we had a predation today. We had a big dragon's predating a small one.
No. A big Komodo has attacked another dragon with devastating results.
That's very Jurassic Park, that is. That is just so primeval.
I've never seen footage like this before. The aftermath of a rumble in the jungle, Komodo dragon style. Unlike smaller lizards, Komodos do not regenerate their tails. The defeated lizard will survive, but it faces a dismal life with no tail to fight with, in competition for females and food. Part of Claudio's project is to determine the parentage of the babies. If only a few active fathers have access to the females, then the gene pool for the population as a whole will be smaller, and they could be vulnerable to disease, stress, or inbreeding. Blood samples from potential fathers will go a long way to providing the answers. But you wouldn't want to tackle one of the big males on your own. I use the noose to stop the dragon injuring itself in the trap.
You've got the tail, I've got the head.
Yeah, we are.
You got some?
Yeah.
Oh, well done, that man.
Actually, for DNA analysis, we don't need much blood because in each, say, drop of blood of a reptile, the amount of DNA that we can find is extremely high. So this is a blood samples of an adult male Komodo dragon.
After the blood sampling is over, it's time to release the hatchling. There he is. The transmitter has to be attached carefully. Claudio does not want it to affect the animal's behaviour.
One of the main aims of the study is to assess actually the survival rates of hatchlings. So during the first year of their life, how many die and how many, of course, survive.
So putting the transmitter on the tail so that it doesn't actually restrict the lizard in its movements. If it were on the back, presumably it would make the lizard a larger object for going into gaps.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Okay.
Well, he's all set to go then, isn't he?
Yeah, we can go and try to release it.
Excellent.
Yep.
I'll take my left hand away first so you can get your photograph.
Yeah.
By tracking this baby continually for a year, researchers will gain new insights into the animal's biology and behaviour.
Here we are.
There he is. Which way to go? And that'll be done for 2 sites here on Rinca and 2 on Komodo. And then using the antennae, these animals will be followed, observed, and data recorded to see how many are still around at the end of the year. Are you having a look at us? On your way, little chap.
As I'm preparing to leave the area, there's a big hatch on Komodo Island. On the way there, I released the pit viper that bit me in the place that I caught it. Claudio's gone on ahead to take blood samples from the new babies.
15 small dragons has hatched.
15.
15 in one go yesterday
That's
morning.
amazing. So what are you doing now, processing the animals?
So we're just taking morphological measures and weighing them. So, and then we will attach the transmitters and then we will release them.
Ouch, that hurts. The theory is that these juveniles haven't started to eat rotten meat, so they don't have the lethal bacteria in their saliva yet. Let's hope Claudio hasn't disproved this theory the hard way.
Now I feel relieved. Oh dear.
We're going to release yesterday's hatchlings near the nest site. The hatch of this clutch is reassuring, and better late than never. But there are always adults on the prowl.
Big dragon there. You just never know when you're going to come across them, do you?
Happy.
Right, here we are.
Today, there are another 8 new arrivals, to add to yesterday's 15. Typical. You wait 7 months, and then 23 come along at once.
How many have you got?
Now we've got 4 of them.
4
And
inside.
it is, some of them they are
4
they
inside.
went back. Yeah, they went back inside the hole.
There you go. 4 baby Komodo dragons.
While I'm incapacitated, Claudio rushes to release yesterday's hatchlings. The 8 new babies will be measured and released tomorrow.
So we are going to release these small babies around in this area where there are lots of trees, so they can climb up and be safe from the adult.
Don't you just love them?
Over the next 12 months, data from the blood samples and the radio tracking will be analysed in the lab at Yale, and the Komodo dragon will finally yield its secrets.
Go on, you little scamp. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Pretty bloody business, this, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, I didn't expect them to start biting each other.
That was just a ploy to get us to go closer.
Yeah, well, it's called hunger also.
Yes. It's just one bite and then they all start, they think they're missing something. Well, I'm leaving Komodo now. I've always wanted to come here and see the giant dragons. But for a while, it looked like things were certainly going to go pear-shaped. The radio transmitters didn't arrive, the hatchlings didn't arrive, and I went and got snake bit.
So I had a few problems. But better managed conservation, thanks to this project, will protect the endangered Komodo dragon. Essential when their range is just these few remote islands.
Once bitten, twice shy? Not this guy. The croc hunter has tangled with an infamous croc named Graham once before and wound up hurt. Now it's time for round 2. Steve takes a biting and keeps on fighting. Next on The Croc Hunter, only on Animal Planet.